It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good morning. 28th of August 2019, 8 a.m. CET, 7 a.m. London. Piotr here, meaning this is a pre-London Open live market coverage only here on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. End of the summer holiday is coming. Last week of the summer holiday, and yesterday that was one of the reasons we saw during the whole day some kind of the lullaby, nothing extraordinary, but it might change very easily today, because if you remember, when you are a trader, when you are an investor and you need to settle spot this month, you have to be aware of T+2. So today for some guys is the last day to make some settlement in August, meaning that especially around the fixings might be some kind of the nice and ugly price action. We are going to discuss this morning few things, especially oil, indices, gold and majors as usual. So bear with me. Let's start with the risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind, trading effects on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments, so please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, so finally we can switch to the charts. There you go. Okay, and today we will start a little bit different. We will start from crude. After fireworks we've seen yesterday, a little bit of the changes. If you remember, we are discussing some bearish setups, and on Monday they used to work. Yesterday we had a strong move to the upside. We broke through the Monday high, we closed above Friday high. Very strong move, and one of the reasons was late private API data, which show bigger than what market was expecting draw. So all eyes today on official EEA release, and during our afternoon meeting we are going to cover it live. But even with the huge market move yesterday, medium and long term, from my perspective, nothing has changed, right? So that's my bigger picture. If you remember, that's my bigger picture. So these lines here represents eventually equal waves to the downside, right? But we need to focus, so trying to avoid this disturbing from that, I'm gonna remove them. And because of yesterday move, we might see a little bit more pain to the upside. So if you are a bear already, I would rethink the strategy, because we might see equal wave to the upside as what we've seen from the very beginning of the August, from the 7th of August with this lower shadow, and we ended the first wave around the 13th, right? So because of yesterday price action, the equal wave cannot be ruled out, and we have very nice supply. We have very nice supply based on the swing high created on the 31st of August, all right? So we might see prices rising towards the monthly open. There is a nice liquidity pool here based on this swing, but I think, and you probably can agree with me, the price action we've seen to the left with this stop count, there is a possibility of over-under creation, right? Boom! Shakalak, that's how it can work. So in that case, carefully from the medium and long-term perspective, waiting because of what happened yesterday. It might easily change, right, within the next few days, but because of what happened from the medium-term perspective, I'm waiting for 59.50 and 60 level again, all right, as a seller, at least based on what we seen yesterday. And even more short-term, I might try to look for the possibility to try to go long, either based on the combination of Friday high, Monday high, all right, or eventually on the stronger pullback towards weekly open and Friday low, all right, trying to finish the business because of this swing low. So yeah, I'm going to try to adopt two strategies, and we will see, because I think we might see higher levels also because of what might happen on stocks. I think that even me, I was extremely bearish after the Friday, but because of what happened on Monday, yesterday, I think we might see higher stocks as well. And to see the higher stocks prices, we need to have a support from the oil market, and that's giving us the bigger picture, right? That's how I see the things here. That's how I see the things here. So switching to the 1 hour chart on the oil, right? So that's where we had supply, and as you can see, the supply worked well, right? 2 days ago when we saw this bigger upper shadow, all right? Okay. So right now, because of the price action we've seen yesterday, that's what I've mentioned. Friday high, Monday high as a possible buying opportunity, especially that here we have Riley base. Riley. If you remember, in June we held 3 big educational webinars. We discussed this stuff, and yesterday I mentioned that late September, beginning of October, I will start to do similar stuff but with short videos, right? So if you prefer this type, the way of the education, short videos, 10-15 minutes, that's what I'm gonna to do instead of watching at once 2 or 3 hours, right? So no worries. So right now the pullback towards 55, that's what I'm gonna to look for as selling, as buying opportunity. I'm sorry, right? As buying opportunity. Now you may want to check also the biggest pullback was after the initial rally. It was 61.8, and if we are going to make the measure that way, we might see a little bit lower levels towards 54.50. okay, if you want to use fib. So in that case we might see retest of these previous highs, and then what we discuss, something closer to the weekly open. So on daily, 2 levels, on intraday, 3 possible zones. especially this very nice possible stop count over here. So that's what I'm gonna to look for when we are talking about the oil market from the short-term perspective. And again, higher time frame, I'm looking for a little bit bigger rally to take the advantage of that rally and to try to short that market, right? But at least for now, looks like I'm gonna to look for rejection at much higher levels, right? Unless something is going to change again. Also, I like this idea with the higher levels right now after this price action because of the possible squeeze, what we discussed based on this formation here. So number 2 as a target, stop hunt, and yeah, over under in play. So trying to summarize the oil, short term, possible higher levels, medium long term, looking to fade 59, 50, 60, and looking for much lower levels. Let's switch to gold, right? If you remember, been short gold yesterday, cut that short around the entry, maybe tiny green. So we got back above weekly open. Tokyo session brought retest of that, and we are trying to push a little bit higher. Now guys, what is important, if you remember what we discussed yesterday, we were rejected on Monday based on the big supply zone from the weekly chart perspective, right? That's what we have here, if you remember, right? So I still think, and mostly because of again possible manipulation on the market when we are talking about the indices, I see the chances we, especially on Nasdaq, we might see higher levels. So still for now looking somehow to fade the gold, right? Now how to do that? Not many changes to what we discussed yesterday. Either break below 1525, that might be the solution, right? Or watching the first hour of this week trading range here, right? All right. So if we somehow going to retest that high and fail at the top, that could be the case, right? So let's have a look if we can retest 1550, 1555, or break below and retest 1525. So not big changes to what we discussed yesterday here on gold, at least for now. There is also possibility because of the late New York price action as well as the Tokyo price action. In case of creation upper shadow within that candle right now, that might be for me the opportunity to try to join the party to the downside. But I need the upper shadow here at the end of the hour within the next 45 minutes. Okay. So that's gold. Indices. Now first look like this. Wait. First look like this. It's showing for some guys that jeez. I'm gonna to tell you what I'm talking about. Give me a second. Yeah. With this type of the view, some guys may try to look for possible head and shoulder formation, or at least something similar to head and shoulder formation, right? But in my opinion, from the bigger picture, from the bigger perspective, it's a wrong place to try to call it head and shoulder, right? So I do believe we are going to see higher levels, but probably not right now, right? Because if I would have a possibility to manipulate the market, I would of course invite these guys who see the possible head and shoulders to try to execute and trade this head and shoulders. So I would invite them by selling, right? Breaking the neckline, hitting our buying zone we discussed yesterday, the white one, all right? And immediately see the rally higher. But that's only if I would have a possibility to manipulate the market. Now, why? Because of what we already discussed a few times from the higher time frame, from the daily chart, the Monday price action, the rejection of that low, finishing the business, something similar we've seen on euro-dollar, right, on Friday. It's very similar stuff. So there is some kind of the range right now being created, all right? And we had some stops to the down. So if we can call this as a range, let's say without the shadows, just bodies, right? So we had another stop count to the downside, so we need another stop count to the upside. And maybe this time, because I'm bearish here, medium term, but very similar to what we discussed on oil, I might try to use some price action as a buying opportunity, because what I think and what we discussed a few times already, and because of yeah, you know, it's based on my way of thinking last Friday and over the weekend. As I mentioned, I was extremely bearish, right? But if everyone like me has a similar view, probably we are going to see the opposite side. And based on what we discussed a few times already, there is a possibility of equal waves move. And in that case, we still have unfinished business higher, right? Towards 7,850, 7,900 based on my chart, right? So that's how I see the things. Over, under, and eventually from here, finally move a little bit lower towards 7,000, breaking 7,300 latest low, and that's how I see the things on Nasdaq, right? We are going to discuss DJ and S&P during our afternoon meeting, so no worries, guys. Okay, just a little bit of coffee. Trying to summarize, Nasdaq pulling back towards 7,500 and below. That's where I'm gonna to look for the price action, and I think this eventually, if someone sees head and shoulders here, it's not gonna work that way, in my opinion. I might be totally wrong, but I think it's not the right place to call it head and shoulders, right? So looking to buy, looking for rally higher, especially that it might be window dressing, end of the month manipulation. It might be pension funds buying at the very beginning of each month. Everything is, you know, setting up for squeeze, short squeeze higher, right? And also the extreme negative sentiment. So now we have to switch. It's time to switch to the FX, and the first thing first is Chinese yuan and where we are. We broke through 714, and as of now, okay, yesterday it was the inside bar. For now is inside the inside. But the levels, right? And what we trying to create here, maybe another flag. That might be another flag. So on one hand, White House administration is trying to do miracles right, saying that they are still in talks with China, everything is fine. We had a phone call over the weekend, right? What kind of the phone call when the opposite side saying is not aware of any phone calls over the weekend? Well, anyway, so there is a very long way to try to solve this trade wars between the US and China. And if that's the flag, if my way of thinking is correct, so at some point more pain is coming, right? More pain is coming here. I mean, you know, from the Chinese perspective, it's one of the tools to try to fight these new tariffs, right? By weakening the currency. Okay, they're gonna be called FX manipulator, but who cares? So this showing that nothing has been solved on that line. So for me, it's like, you know, end of the month, beginning of the month, very good time to manipulate. That's why I've been trying to explain on Nasdaq, on oil, right, that oil is going to support indices pushing higher. But overall, medium and long-term perspective, nothing has been solved yet. And once, that's where we have to be perfectly clear. Once we are going to get something strong, confirmed by both sides, yeah, it might be skyrocketing for the market, right? But as of now, after the sell-off, 2-3 days, 4 days upside consolidation and probably rejection. That's how I see the things. So yeah. Now during our afternoon meeting, we are going to discuss a dollar index and where we are from the higher time frame perspective. But just for the purpose of today's current meeting, pre-London Open, let's have a look where we are and discuss the short-term possibilities. So euro dollar going back to Friday demand zone, right? As you remember, we saw this bigger rally. We stopped around 1160, right? But we were discussing that 1160 is a level, is a zone we have to take out in case of the neutralized current bear market, and above 1250 is needed to try to turn a bit bullish, right? But come on, look at Germany and try to find something euro bullish. On that case, we are totally right. We should see the lower levels, but still President Trump doesn't like higher dollar value, so you know, we might see some kind of the manipulation, especially the things we witnessed last Friday. Anyway, because of this, because of where we are from the monthly perspective, we are around the monthly open, right? So it might be some kind of the big wave candle, some kind of the doji if you wish. Anyway, that's what might be here. So as long as we are above Friday open and low, this price action, as low as again the same with the swing low here from the very beginning of the month, I do expect some bullish activity. The buyers are here because of the chart, and you know, that's how I see the things. So we might range between this 1050 and 1150 for now, maybe towards the end of the month. But once we are going to break, through and close below 110, we are going to be inside big demand zone from the weekly, but below psychological 110 level, we might see retest of 108 as low as the bottom of that demand zone, simply because of the continuation of the move to the downside, right? So let's have a look where we are from the intraday perspective. I've been tiny long yesterday, if you remember. I moved my stop higher, so I narrower my loss, been stopped out. So let's switch to the hourly chart. All right. So we failed yesterday, right, on the previous supply from the past. If you remember, we were discussing this yesterday. We were discussing this previous week. That move above 1150 might be good, but once we are going to get back, again, negative. If we are talking about some kind of the equal waves, we might see this type. I didn't take this open. This over under to the left. So that's the buying zone around 60. That's what I'm gonna to watch carefully, right? From the selling perspective, in case of some kind of the spike, Monday low used to work as a supply during the Tokyo session, as you can see. Above Monday low, we might see retest of this 1150 again, 1115. But very narrow range right now, very narrow range, right? Buyers are here around the Friday rejection, around the Friday low, right? So very narrow. It's gonna be challenge to try to take out few pips here, few pips there on euro dollar. So maybe it's gonna be a little bit easier to try to trade euro pound. And congratulations, if you were listening very carefully yesterday, here, when I've been trying to explain that early close above yellow is a bullish, but upper shadow is a bearish, so maybe you grabbed few pips to the downside, like 30. We retest the low, hit some stops. I think a little bit more is coming, right? A little more is coming. So we have another trying to adopt to the channel, but okay, let's place the falling trend line only. And as you can see here, and of course here, we have three touches, right? So I think we might do some kind of the jumper, meaning that we are going to try to take out yesterday low. It might be retest on euro dollar of 1060, right? Retest the possible intraday demand based on the intraday chart, and one more attempt to go higher, but the target is going to be somewhere here, right? If you are a bear on euro pound, then you want to see a little bit higher levels. I would like to see some kind of the stop hunt based on this New York price action high, right? Or even a little bit higher, trying to finish the business here. This swing high over here. So above 90.50 towards 91, that's where the supply resides, and I do expect some kind of the demand down towards 89.90, 89.70 from the euro pound perspective. So when talking about the euro pound and eventually the higher prices, I'm not talking that we are going to see the higher prices because of the euro strength, rather because of the pound weakness. And the pound weakness might be based on what we have here on the cable, right? On one side, we had the top of the channel, we had the failure, so there was an attempt to go higher, upper shadow, close inside. The only so that, and equal waves as you can see, so we might see attempt to go lower. There are two things positive from bull's perspective, right? That yesterday engulf of the Monday price action move above weekly open, and right now during the late Tokyo, we are trying to retest and hold, right? So engulf and weekly open positive, but failure at the top of the channel. So I'm gonna to watch carefully price action during the London session. We had this retest of the Monday high rejected during the late Tokyo. If I'm going to see something similar during the London, right, I may try to take the advantage. What I'm gonna to target, there is a, we discussed yesterday, nice channel being created on intraday, so I'm looking for 2230 as a possible target, 2230, 2220, and that's also the Monday low. So maybe we are going to see the spike down in case of the lower shadow and holding the rising channel. I might also decide to try to go long on the cable later on, right? So I'm looking for any kind of the failure, either around, from the intraday perspective, either around the Monday high, that's what we see, so there is a possibility to try to trade over under as well. Also, it might be that we will see some manipulation to the upside. Market may want to try to hit some stops, trying to run away from that channel towards 2340, 50, failure, and then there might be the setup, right? So there are two possibilities from the bear's perspective, either failure around here, around the Monday high, or the failure at the top of this intraday channel. Bulls probably lower. Of course, there is some possible demand around the weekly open, but the bigger one is around the bottom of the channel and Monday low. That's how I see the things on cable. And finally, dollar yen, no change here. Based on what we discussed yesterday, still see the possibility of the manipulation higher. Watching Friday low and the weekly open as a possible levels from the buyer's perspective, and sellers 107, 107.30, but only if you see stop hunt and rejection. That's what we discussed yesterday, those two arrows. And in case of the break and close above this consolidation, we might see retest of something closer to 109. Okay, there are gonna be plenty of time this afternoon to discuss this stuff. But don't forget, guys. Hi Mer, how you doing? Good morning. But don't forget, guys, it's a T+2. Some guys, some big guys, if they are going to settle the business in August, some of them, they are not gonna to watch the chart, so unusual price action is possible. Of course, one can argue that, come on, Piotr, it's a end of the summer holiday, no one is doing the businesses. Okay, but we have to be aware of the possibility of the unusual price action because of the upcoming end of the month flow. All right, so switching lower on the dollar yen and summarize the dollar yen. Again, it might be that we will try to start from here as we are above the 50% of that new range. But for me, I would like to see the retest of the lower levels towards 105.25. That's what I've been explaining yesterday as well, right? So plenty of things to watch today. So it might be interesting day. Gold is trying to, as you can see, gold is trying to build upper shadow. That's what we discussed a second ago. Oil, but oil only during the US hours. So yeah, we are going to monitor EEA data. So yeah, it's gonna be easier. Nasdaq would like to see some kind of the lower levels ahead of the rally. So plenty of things. Oh, by the way, I didn't get what I've been waiting for on the pound yen yesterday. So maybe we are going to have it today, right? 129.20 1.20 and lower as a buying opportunity, in my opinion, short term on the pound yen here as well. So no change here. So there not many changes to what we discussed yesterday because we had a slow day yesterday. That's the truth, right? So guys, don't be trapped during the London session, all right? And don't forget that we have a meeting today. So you are more than welcome to join me 3 p.m. CT, 2 p.m. London. We are going to cover US Cash Open live. We are going to monitor the oil from the EEA data perspective as well. So hopefully some price action, nice price action, and we are gonna be involved. Guys, it was my pleasure to be with you here this morning. Don't be trapped. Have a great London session and see you around the US Cash Open. Goodbye.